Hello and welcome to part 14 of the Avid Media Composer tutorial, and today we are looking at audio. So in the previous segment we looked at audio syncing and how to sync audio to video from external sound to camera. So in this basically I wanted to outline some of the functions of the audio tools in Avid. And first off, I've got a clip on the timeline, and I want to I want to show what we can do to audio on the timeline and how we can increase volume and change and create keyframes. So in order to do that, I have opened up a track control panel here. When you open up Avid and when you put audio on a timeline, your timeline should look like this. So to gain access to your audio functions, you want to open up the track control panel, which is signified by this forward arrow key. So if we press that, it opens up a set of options for our sound. Now, first off, if we want to enable waveforms on the soundtrack, we press these waveform icons, which bring up our waveforms, and this is an instantaneous process, and that's great. So now we can monitor our sound and look at it and determine where. And so now we can look at our sound and we can actually see that visually. So next off, if we wanted to increase the overall volume of our audio, we can do that in a few different ways. First off, if we go to these boxes here, we can enable something called clip gain. And as you can see, it's grayed out the audio track at the bottom, and it's left a little icon here, so let's just zoom in a little bit. And that is a clip gain function, as you can see. So we can increase or decrease audio depending on what we need for the scene. So I'm just going to reset that to 0 at the moment. Now, this only enables the clip gain function on a track by track basis. So you need to enable it twice if you have stereo. So we've now got both clip gains enabled. So now we can enable our gain and basically increase volume. So audio is measured in dB, as you can see down here, decibels. And we can basically determine, it's a volume unit of measurement used to determine the loudness of sound. So if we go to Tools and we go to Audio Tool, we can bring up basically a VU meter showing our decibel range of our sound. So if we play this now, we'll better see what it's doing.
Set.
Scrub forward.
20 quid, that's it. Alright, take it.
Fuck off, mate. What are you on about, man? It's worth twice that, and you fucking know it, isn't it?
20 quid on mouth.
Yeah.
And you know...
So as a good rule of thumb, audio in general should always be below 0 dB here, which is the top of the display. It should never go beyond that because then it peaks. So having anything around the -6 or in this case -8, between -8 and -20 is generally good for dialogue. But let's say for argument's sake we wanted to increase the volume, because having seen that, we could probably do with a volume increase. We've already added a 2 dB volume increase, but I think we could add some more. Let's add +4 and see what that does.
Alright, take it.
Fuck off, mate. What are you on about, man? It's worth twice that, and you fucking know it, isn't it?
20 quid on mouth.
Yeah.
And you know what, right?
So we've increased the volume that way, and again the clip gain works in the opposite way, so we can decrease if sound is too loud. But in this case, I think we've got it just right there. So that is one way of increasing or decreasing sound using the clip gain function. Now, if we wanted to take that one step further, we can set keyframes to our audio, and our keyframes can be found in our tools and command palette. Depending on your layout, if you wanted different keyframe functions, our keyframes can be found under Effects, under the command palette, add keyframe there. That's what it looks like in Avid. If we wanted to, I'll just show you where it is on the keyboard visually. So on an Avid keyboard, it exists as the quotation mark, usually next to the enter key. Good to remember, but if for whatever reason you don't have that, you can enable it yourself. And if you don't prefer it on the keyboard and you would like it on the timeline, you can drag and drop it here, and you can create and add keyframe presets just above your timeline right here. So we can create a new keyframe. To enable keyframes on the audio track, you need to go back to your track control panel here and click on volume, and you've got to do that for both. So when I come back, clip gain and volume are both enabled. So let's add a keyframe. So let's put one there, and perhaps maybe put one here. So as you can see, we've created 2 keyframes. Now we can move these around by just clicking down, left click and holding, and we can move our audio clips up or down depending on what we need. So moving the keyframes up increases volume over time, and moving them down decreases volume over time. If we want to shrink the difference between our keyframes, on a Mac, if you press Option and hold, you can drag the keyframes left and right across the timeline. You cannot do this if you don't hold down the Option key. On a PC, it is Control, hold down Control, and you can scrub left and right. If you let go of the Option or Control key, I can only make volume adjustments. So basically there's 2 functions to the keyframes. Very useful to bear in mind, and they basically allow you to finesse the timeline in terms of the sound. So as you can see here, the sound changes quite a lot over the timeline, from being quite quiet here to quite loud. So having keyframes here, so I was to add them, I would probably want to decrease the volume at this point, because I know it is quite loud. So having the volume go from where it is quite high here to quite low, to decreasing it, will increase the general sound. So hopefully if I play that, let's just make sure it doesn't peak. Just bring that down a bit more, and then let's press play.
Fuck off, Will. Fuck off, mate. Leave it. It's not
So we could probably do with increasing the volume a little bit.
enough. It's enough. Fuck off, Will. Fuck off, mate. Leave it. It's not enough. It's enough for me. It's enough for me. I'm going to go to Blackpool, mate.
So in this case, it is quite loud, but we brought it down so it's not peaking as it was there as in its original form. So those are the basics of audio, setting clip gain increase or decreases on your audio, as well as setting keyframes. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye bye.